Alright, welcome back to the Super Coach Nuff channel. In today's video, we're looking at the NRL Fantasy and Sportsdeck teams even, after round 4 of the season. So, we'll do the NRL Fantasy first. Uh, for round 4 rather, just refreshed, I forgot. So 896, which is pretty good for us. Um, so the round rank was about 33,000. We're overall about 33,000. So maybe starting to find our level there. But as we have a look at the team, so Harry Grant was our captain. He scored 51, which is obviously doubled to 102. Yeah, not his best game, but everyone's allowed a bad game once in a while. Kepi 46, so he's just consistently churning out those sort of 40 scores, making a bit of cash. That's perfectly fine for the time being. Isaiah Yo, so 83, so it looks like the Panthers are back to a degree. Although they didn't get the chocolates against Parramatta, they started to look a little bit more like the team that we've known for the last couple of years. And Cam Murray, 58, so again, just churning out base. Um, we'd like a little bit of upside with that, but it is what it is. So on the edge, you've got Preston with 44, so not his best game by any stretch, or the Bulldogs' best game. There was definitely positives to take out of it, but we'll probably talk about that more in the Bulldogs project video, to be honest. And Jermaine Hopgood, 70, so he's an absolute freak, making so much money and points. Yeah, it's so good to have on the side. Nathan Cleary, 78, so his best game for the year. Hopefully, he can continue that form going through. Ilias with 58, that's pretty solid for half that doesn't kick goals and is a bit more of a distributor. So ideally not the second half we want in there, but he's the one we've got for now. So Val Holmes, 44, obviously got that intercept try against the Titans. So, that definitely boosted him up. And Lemuelu, 48, so this is why we brought him into the side. He's playing 80 minutes on that edge, so he's getting through work, and he definitely doesn't shy away from it. So that's a nice little banker, make some money, score some points in that tricky centre position. So then the wings and fullbacks, so Tyrell Sloan was a bit disappointing. Was even more disappointing in Supercoach. So, not sure how he got to 27 in this format, but we'll take that. Tom Chester, 48. So, we've got one more week of him scoring his points and making some cash before Drinkwater comes back. And then we'll reassess what we're going to do in the wing fullback position there. Nickel Clockstad, 46. That's why we've got him in. That's what he does. Just solid scorer, making us some cash. On the bench, Damien Cook, 64. So again, plenty of base in that. Not a lot of attack, perhaps, but we'll take it. Sonny Luke, so he unfortunately had a head knock, so didn't get a lot of game time, but that's okay. We've got him there because we know he is going to explode at some point, and we want to be on for that. Sean Bloor, 37. That's not too bad. Looks like he was playing a bit in the middle, in the middle forward rotation. So they're going to give him the time, and he definitely didn't shy away from running and tackling. So that might not be the worst hold on the bench at the moment. Alamotti, 30. That's fine. He's still making money, still scoring okay enough. Unfortunately, as you can see a bit further down, Dury 22 was, not ideal. At fifth, I guess, we did have the loophole option there, but we forsake that. But down the bottom, Warbrick 64. So Yeah, it would have been nice to, probably actually have that on field instead of Sloan, but it is what it is. At least he's making us some money now. And I guess the other one was Khan Pereira. Don't know how do we search for it. More filters. Just go wing fullback. Don't know if his average would actually be that high after the first couple of weeks. Points last round, that's what I wanted. So 64 points at 304k. So he's going to make some money after the buy, which will be very nice to have. So I suppose the question is, for this week anyway, is how do we get Nicho Hynes in? So 98 points on his return against the Dragons. He's just tipped over a mil. But, I think you've got to try and get him in to make up ground. People might be sort of holding off, waiting for after the bye. But I think we need the points this week. So in order to do that, we need to first go to round 5 where we can change stuff around. And first move is Ilias out. So obviously he's in that slot. So we bring him in and we need to make 416k for this to happen. Which unfortunately means that we can't quite cash out on Val Holmes. Even with that little 18k that he slipped. That wouldn't have been enough. So it means we've got to sort of look at one of our gun options. So we do have Cook on the bench. We've got Murray, Yo, Grant. But obviously out of those, Grant's staying. I guess you could include Hopgood in the situation as well, but he's staying. Dual position helps. So Isaiah Yo, making a little bit of money. So we'll sort of keep him hanging around. So it really comes down to one of the South boys, so Murray or Cook. And so it is a tricky one when you think about it, because they're both similar price. They're both dropped a similar amount, unfortunately. So I think it comes down to who we want to bring in instead. And if I trade out Cam Murray and we switch it to players we can afford, because this will help us. The points from last round. So we've got Jackson Ford available at that price range. As the train goes past, apologies if that's in the background. Yeah, so I mean, he's someone I've talked about bringing into the Super Coach side as well. Just because he's got that 4, or what would he scored in fantasy? I can't do it now anyway. Let's just confirm the trade and then I can. So if we go back to the team, so he scored 61 last week, which is massive. If we go to the full player profile, it's a lowest score, so he got a 4 in fantasy as well. So obviously once that kicks out of his rolling average, it's going to boost up in price. And yeah, so his match stats, so 44 and 60, 61 in 80 minutes, so 80-minute edge forward at 383 dual position. That's very nice. We would love a piece of that. So, yeah. So unfortunately, we'd love to keep Murray, but I think you've just got to find a way to get Hynes in. The argument against, I suppose, as well, Murray would outscore Hynes over the next 2 weeks. So I guess now that I say that out loud, it's like, well, maybe we can hold off. So I guess the alternate option, just to play devil's advocate, we get rid of that. We're still going in on Ford. But then who's it at the expense of? If it's not Murray, then how else do we get there? So maybe we have to go through Hynes. We'll just bring Ford in as a bench option. And then, so we freed up about half of it. So I guess Ilya still has money to make as well, so maybe he's not a desperate sell this week. So then the other bit of bank, what do we need still? Oh, what happened there? Didn't trade. I didn't confirm it, did I? Right, take two. So Holmes out, Ford in. Yes, confirm trade. That's better. So yeah, so assuming Hynes is going to go up in value, sort of find another 250k to bank. Guess maybe Dury, but this will be team list dependent too. So if we go, oh no, we just go that way. That way to go back to front. Yeah, so it's sort of hard having a look here to see any potential, money makers. Nothing jumps out. Yeah, so I mean, that's why we were making such a drastic move to, trade a keeper for a keeper, I suppose. But because I guess the thing is, we've still got Brandon Smith here as well that can play in the middle. We've now got Ford who can play in the middle. So um, then again, we've also got three hookers, or four if you count Brandon Smith as well. So I think that's why the argument is to go this week. So yeah, don't really want to have to pull the whole team apart just to accommodate Hynes. Because I guess the other thing too, now I think about it out loud, is if we don't trade this week, then we're just waiting 2 weeks to trade. Because obviously in round 6 he has the bye. No point bringing him in. So there would be some time for these players to mature in price, such as a Ford, I guess, a Preston, maybe Bloor and Dury. We might be able to squeeze some more cash out of them. Uh, if do Sloan to Khan Pereira and take that little bump in price. Um, so maybe it is worth sort of holding fire at this point. So I mean, we can even go back on Holmes. He's not bleeding a lot of cash. So this week it could just purely be, how much is Ford? 383. So we can't even use a Dury or Bloor straight to Ford. That's a bit annoying. We do want to get him in this week. So we're happy enough to play Alamotti and Lemuelu there in the centre. Get 40. Alright, make that one trade. Start building the bank to get Hynes in. So yeah, so next week it'll be Sloan to Khan Pereira. So hopefully that'll bank us an extra 50k or so. Um, and also, I guess, hopefully in that time, we can, find someone to bring in for Bloor or Dury to squeeze that last bit of cash, to then be able to go Ilias to Hynes. I still feel like we're going to have to get rid of a big boy to make that really happen. So, alright. So, let's just reverse that trade. Go Holmes and Murray out. Bring in Hynes and Ford. So I guess, the only reason to keep Ilias is he's making that extra bit of cash. Always so frustrating. Alright, so we're going to do the Murray to Ford trade first. I don't need to do that. I mean, Ilias. Alright, let's just go this way. Dare to be different, I suppose. So then, what that means is we bring Hynes in. Just shift him up. The pecking order. Be second. So then Ilias, and might even push Katoa up. I think with Sean O'Sullivan out, he's going to be a pretty handy option. So we don't really have a loophole option this week. That's okay. We can live with that, I think. Could be Luke if he doesn't get up from his concussion anyway, so it's all much for muchness. But yeah, I think we'll leave the team like that. So yeah, so that means we've got Hynes in, and I think got to go the C on him. The form that he's shown, he's fit obviously, so get him on. Yeah, so that's the NRL fantasy team. So we'll have a quick look at the Sportsdeck team too. So I guess one I'm actually doing okay in. So 983 points this week, which is top 2%. And yeah, so you can see it ranked 74. Obviously, there's not a lot of players in the Sportsdeck comp, but to get top 100 of it is still pretty nice. And also, we've pushed into the top 1,000 overall, which is pretty cool. Also, so I guess still top 23% is a bit flat, but that's neither here nor there. But if we have a look at the team, if it ever loads, try again, edit the team. He won the matchup. That's always nice to see too. So went with a similar sort of pattern. Harry Grant as the captain, didn't quite work out, but that's okay. Stefano and Kepi, so they're just doing their thing. Pretty much average if you look at the scores. Mawali, he's a bit of a dud pick and one I'm going to try and get out of this week if I can. Yeah, Murray, Fafita, Hopgood all looked pretty good in the second row, along with Olaquatu, Preston. So very similar to his Supercoach score. But then Hynes 111, so that was the move we made. Although now with like I said, Sean O'Sullivan being out, kind of regret that we got Katoa out for it. But I guess that's how we could afford it, so that's how it went down. Cleary 84 as well, so we probably should have took that VC score in hindsight, but again, it's a big weekend, so I didn't really spend much time thinking about the Sportsdeck team, to be honest. And then the backs, so Holmes, Fido, WI Fido, I should say, Carraz, all solid in the centres there. Meany did well, 58. Clockstad, where you'd like to see a little bit more, but beggars can't be choosers. And some nice sort of cash gen there for Taruva and Warbrick on the bench. But as far as trades go this week, we're sort of not stuck, isn't the right word, but I mean, looking at the back line, pretty happy with that. You know, it's either guns or cash cows, so we're happy to keep that. You know, pretty happy with our half situation, but we might look at trading Boyd out for Josh Schuster, wherever he is on the list. There he is. So that frees up a bit of money, and then probably what leaning towards, and it's a bit boring because I've talked about him in every other um, version of the game. About around 4 points maybe. Find him, but Jackson Ford. So that's sort of, I guess, the two trades I'd like to make. Um, would like to perhaps be able to try and use a boost. Let's see if we can swing it, activate, and try to fix this Moale pick that hasn't worked out for us. So what do we got? 380 to play with. It doesn't really sort of speak volumes of our options. Let's do a little filter, see who we can afford. So it's only the types of Spencer Leniu, Matt Croker. So Isaac Farmasulawa, butchered that. Farsula Malawi. Sorry, I probably didn't get that right. But yeah, on the buy this week, Jack Hetherington would be an interesting option. I know Manly is, Newcastle. I was looking at that part. Newcastle are probably short of a couple of forwards at the moment, so you'd hope he stands up and makes a bit of money for them. The fact he's averaging 22 and then has got 38 this week doesn't bode well. But that's what it is. Murdoch Masilla, that's a terrible idea. Who else potentially? Solo, so he's dipped after his first few weeks. So probably pass on that. After that, I think this is all the players who haven't played yet. So we'd be relying on something like a Maroa to come back in and just start. Not going to happen, I wouldn't have thought. Nothing stands out here. Shaq Mitchell would be good if he can get injured. Tanner, that's interesting that he's lobbed up down here. That's okay. Maybe we just leave it another week and then we could get Fasu Malawi or what was the other option there? I thought there was another one. Maybe there wasn't. Yeah, or even next week, we cash out on someone. Maybe, an Alamotti might be tapped out by then or something. We can use that money to go up to an actual gun in the front row would be nice. Yeah, so we'll just go with the two trades. I think we'll keep the trade boost and the skyrocket. So Brandon Smith will get a go this week. So Fafita will swap with Press. Well, actually, probably Olaquati. Bulldogs play last. Burton, Carraz, yeah, that's fine on the bench. I think everything else is good. And so then, Hynes is going to be the captain. And I think we can get away with Cleary as VC. Yeah, I think maybe that's a better shout than Turbo in this format of the game. So, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, so I think, yeah, that's the fantasy and sports deck teams and how they're looking. Obviously, if you've got suggestions for changes, particularly in the NRL fantasy side, do we bring in Hynes? Do we wait? Let me know what you think. It's been good to see you getting a couple of comments recently, so a bit of love and support. It's been really cool to see. Also, like the videos and subscribe if you are enjoying the content. I think I'm starting to settle on the format in terms of what I'm producing and when it's getting put out, I'm pretty happy with. So, um, obviously, if you're happy with it too, let me know. But other than that, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.